Hello and welcome to today's online creative writing lesson. Today's lesson will be in two parts. Part 1, we will be learning to name and understanding the grammar within a descriptive sentence. And in part 2, we are going to be looking at how to write a spooky story. So first of all, I'm going to show you a picture of a wood which has a spooky element within it. What I would like you to do on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard is to write down a pronoun. If you're not sure of what nouns are or what pronouns are, I will explain. So a common noun are the names of things, for example, people, place, or objects. A proper noun is the name of a particular person, place, or thing, and it always begins with a capital letter. So, for example, Amy went to France on Saturday and took her camera with her. Amy, France, and Saturday are proper nouns, and camera is a common noun. Pronouns are a word that takes place of a noun. So, for example, he, she, them, they, it. So, Amy took her camera to France. She took it there. She is a pronoun that takes the place of Amy. It takes the place of camera. It there and there takes the place of France. So for this picture, have a look and can you write down a pronoun? The pronoun that I'm going to use is he. What I'd like you to do now is to change your pronoun into a common noun. Remember, common nouns are the names of things, for example, people, place, and objects. So the common noun that I'm going to use is figure. Step 3. Now I'd like you to include an adjective. An adjective is a describing word that describes a noun. So this word is going to describe figure. So it's a silent figure. So I'm going to use an adjective silent. So now I have a noun phrase, a silent figure. For step 4, I'd like you to add an article. There are only 3 articles in English, which are a, an, and the. So the article that I'm going to use is the. So the silent figure. For step 5, now I'd like you to add 2 more adjectives after the silent figure, joined by the conjunction and. So the 2 words I'm going to use are dark and mysterious. So I'm going to put a comma after the silent figure, dark and our conjunction, mysterious. Comma. For step 6, you are now going to add a verb. A verb is a doing word, so it tells you the reader about the action the object is doing. So I'm going to use glided. For our step 7, I would like you to include now an adverbial phrase. An adverbial phrase shares the information of when, where, how often, or why something is being done. The adverbial phrase I'm going to use is to tell the reader where the action is being done. So through the trees. So now my sentence reads, the silent figure, dark and mysterious, glided through the trees. For our final step, step 8, I'd like you to add a simile, metaphor, or personification to the end of the sentence. So a simile starts with like or as. So I'm going to do a simile like a ghost walking through a wall, or just like a ghost. So like a ghost. So again, it tells the reader a little bit extra information about how the mysterious figure is moving. So our final sentence now reads, the silent figure, dark and mysterious, glided through the trees like a ghost. What I'd like you to do now is have a go and write 2 or 3 example sentences based on this image. When you've done this image, you can move on to image number 2. And again, can you write 2 or 3 descriptive sentences based on this mysterious figure walking down this alleyway? You can stop the video at any point to have a go and look at the pictures, and we'll go on to part 2 when you're ready. Welcome back to part 2 of today's lesson. Hopefully you've had a go at writing some descriptive sentences using all those different elements. So now we are going to go on to part 2. So at the end of this lesson, I would like you to write a spooky story using some of the ideas and sentences that you've already written. For a spooky story, there are lots of different elements. So the first element that spooky stories have is a rich range of descriptive words to build up that atmosphere for the reader. So here I put some examples that you could use within your writing. A spooky story also has words that relate to our 5 senses. Our 5 senses of hearing, seeing, smelling, touch and taste. So again, I've added some examples which you could magpie and modify within your own story. Weaving short sentences into your narrative will help build that dramatic effect and tension within your story. So again, here are some short sentences that you could use and modify for your own stories. Think about how your characters react with that worry and fear. Show the reader, don't tell them how they're feeling. So the sweat dripped down his back. What did that imply to the reader? He stammered nervously. Again, what am I trying to imply? What could the reader infer about that person, that stammering? Why are they nervous? His eyes bulged like frogs. It's all about creating that inference so the reader can feel part of that story. Again, use metaphors. So a metaphor, you're comparing it to something similar and you're saying it is that. So the cloak of dust wrapped around them. Personification, you're giving a object a human quality. So the dust danced in the breeze. And a simile, using like or as to compare it to something else. She screeched like an eagle diving for its prey. Here are some ideas that you could use within your story. So we've got some characters, some feelings and reactions, some buildings and settings that you could use within your story, and of course the atmosphere that you're trying to create. So here are some key vocabulary, some adjectives for sight. You've got adjectives for sound, for taste, smell and touch. So adjectives for all our 5 senses. And our final key vocabulary is about the movement. So our verbs that you are going to use to move your story along. So choosing appropriate verbs is important to the setting and the feel of your story. So now we've come to the end of our lesson. What I'd like you to do is to write a descriptive spooky story, and you can use the pictures from earlier as your stimulus. I would like you to write it in 3rd person, and of course try to include lots of adjectives and lots of all those different figurative language that we have talked about to get the pictures, the images clear into the head and the imagination of your reader. Hopefully you'll be able to write an amazing spooky story which you can share with everyone. Thank you for listening. Enjoy your writing. Goodbye.